This morning you were introduced to Shalom Worship and Healing Center, and I've already received some grateful comments. You folks seem to appreciate that, somebody wants to be part of our family of Mennonite congregations here in Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick. I also get questions of, so where do they come from? Not Eritrea, but just how did they get to this place? Well, the reality is, using Shalom as an example, is there is literally years and years and years that have gone into relationship building, into coaching, into teaching, into supporting that relationship, not just with Pastor Jonathan, but with the elders in his congregation as well. So just to help you get a grasp of how these things begin to take shape, we're going to introduce you to two new congregations that are not yet quite ready to be emerging church congregations. And the first, Pastor Judith McCartney is a church planter. Come on up, Judith. We'll let you take that mic right there. And the name of her church plant is Soul House. And you just tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, I'd like to thank Jordan for introducing me as the fighting wife that he can learn from. I'm the wife of Colin McCartney. I'm Judith McCartney, and I am a church planter and also a pastor in Toronto. And the name of our church plant is called Soul House, and it's quite appropriate because we're learning about things in the soul in our house. So my husband and I thought it was appropriate to name it Soul House. Both of our children are elite athletes, so we are reaching out to parents of athletes. I have been a church planter since January 2015, and I've survived the first year. I'm still standing. It's been a year of unknowns, navigating through territories I felt the Lord leading me through. And it's also been a really great year of navigating through territories that directly told me not to pursue. I've had some wins, some fails, some question marks, but mainly I've learned some profound lessons during this first year that I know has created part of that strong foundation for the future of my church. As I reflect on the first 12 months of my church planting journey, I've learned about Canada's post-Christian culture, the opportunity of tribes, and I've also learned about the importance of mentoring future leaders like Jordan and Dimitri. Statistically, Canada is no longer a Christian nation. I'm not sure if all of us have really embraced that fact. We can lament this truth, deny it, or see it as an opportunity for us to respond. I decided to respond to this opportunity by reaching out to a group of soccer families, and I call these people my tribe. Our affinity in this group would be the love of our girls that play high-level provincial soccer, and our girls. Our girls are so important to us. I decided that after reading 2 Chronicles 2, verse 9, I'll share that with you. For the eyes of the Lord move to and fro throughout the earth, so that he may support those who are completely his. Do you see the action in 2 Chronicles, verse 9? God is roaming. He's seeking, he's searching. He's actually quite relentless. Have we been relentless in trying to seek out those people who are seeking God? I decided to roam to and fro. That's a hard thing for me to do. I kind of like to sit back and say, hey guys, come to my house. We'll have spaghetti nights, we'll have NFL Super Bowl nights, let's have Bible studies. It'd be really great. So what happened this last year, I had about 3 to 5 people show up. That's not too bad. But I did realize that I still needed to go out, roam to and fro, and create a parish. I guess that was the greatest challenge this year. Looking at my church planting journey through God's lens. At this point of my life, I am always on the soccer field. Our daughter has an NCAA scholarship in the United States. She'll be leaving in July. It's a bittersweet thing. because we're so proud of her, but at the same time we're losing her, for her to be launched, which is actually really a good thing. So I've realized I'm always on the soccer field. I finally realized that the coffee shops, sitting in my car talking to parents who talk to me about anxiety and depression in their girls, I realized a soccer field actually is my parish. I currently have 7 to 10 congregants I meet individually. So God has planted me in this tribe, and God has called us to organically and authentically journey life with these folks. What has happened is that God comes up naturally. So the question I have for you is, what is your tribe? A tribe is a place where you have an affinity with a group of people. Are you a runner? Are you a quilter? Maybe you're a painter. Perhaps you're a teacher, a musician. Perhaps you already are a parish pastor with your particular tribe. That's quite a challenge. Let me share with you one of my greatest verses, I guess a bunch of verses. It's about the Great Commission, Matthew 28, 16 to 20. Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." The Great Commission is all about winning others to Christ, mentoring and developing them, and sending them out. I guess you could say that my greatest passion is to mentor and develop leaders who will make an impact in our communities for Christ. My hope is, as I journey into my second year of church planting, is that we create organic, authentic spaces where we can roam to and fro around our cities, our villages, where we do life to find those who need Jesus. I don't feel we should be waiting for them to come to us. We need to be roaming, we need to be looking, we need to be relentless. I see all of us in this room, actually. I see all of us, each one of us in this room as innovators, developers, and partners. I say this because I'm really pondering the future of our church. We're in a post-Christian culture right now in Canada. When I go to the United States, I see something different. My daughter is going to a university, and she has 5 Christian groups to choose from when she goes to this university. Up here, I don't know if she would have as many options, but I do see us as innovators, developers, and also partners. Each of us, we're innovators because we're creators of new ways to respond to our post-Christian culture through church plants. You can call it a church plant. You can just call it being a friend to neighbors with that same affinity as yourself. Let's create satellite churches all over Canada. Have we thought about that? It's really quite exciting. Let's think about the context that we're living in. My context is Toronto. So I really have to think about the overhead and how much it's going to cost for me to plant a church and how much it's going to cost in speaking relevant cultural language to people that we connect with. So we need to think about that. But I do believe that all of us are innovators. We can create these new spaces to share Christ with others because I don't see people saying to their friend, "Hey, let's go through the doors of that church." I also see us as developers. Our future really would be young leaders. Have we thought about the new millennials? Do we know what millennials are? Millennials are young people who want to have a chance to be purposeful. They're risk takers. So let's take advantage of that. I guess us older people, I'm turning 50 this year, we have this great opportunity to invest in the development of young leaders. I actually have seen, in the last 30 years of my ministry in Toronto, I've seen a lot of young people launch out plant churches, and do other unique ministries. And I actually get excited about that, and I do believe that each of us can develop young leaders. Lastly, I see us as partners. And I want to thank the Mennonite community, the greater Mennonite community. I haven't met you all, but I'd like to thank you because I see all of us as partners. Those of us that have churches that are already settled, and then all of us who are church planters, I really see us as partners. I think that we can share best practices, resources, and also community. And I'm very thankful to be here, and thank you very much for your time.